All right, third question. Can you speak about selecting the correct seeding rate for cover crop blends? Is the number of seeds per acre more relevant than the percentage of the recommended rate for a pure stand? For example, if you wanted a 70% grass and 30% legume blend, do you look at the number of seeds per acre, the seeding rate per acre, or something else like the expected biomass? Maybe the Smart Mix tool addresses this. So I don't know who submitted this, but this is a great question. We get questions like this all the time. And in fact, I will often ask other companies this question too. And 70% grass, 30% legume probably means you have that recommendation on a Haney test or something like that. And I've asked Rick Haney, I said, so does that mean by pounds, by number of seeds? And I don't even know if they have really good answers. So I'm not here to tell you what's the right way, but I'll show you what we do. So here's a mix that I pulled off of the Smart Mix calculator. This happens to be one of Karen's mixes. So Karen, I hope I'm not letting any secrets out here, but this is a mix that she had developed a number of years ago. So I just pulled one out of the archives. But on our Smart Mix calculator, there's a lot of information here, but the things that we look at and the way that we have the calculator help step you through it is obviously this first column is how many pounds per acre is going to be in the mix. And the full rate is right under the word here. So sun hemp for this part of North Carolina, a full rate is 21 pounds an acre. So she's got 3 pounds an acre in here. So that's 14% of a full rate. And so as she goes through and you build the whole mix, you determine what you want to put in here. So what we start looking at then is there's a percentage by weight. So sun hemp is 11% of the mix by weight. It's 8% of the mix by the number of seeds. But you get down here like to the grazing corn, it's 25% of the mix by weight, but only 2% of the mix by the number of seeds. And Proso millet is only 8% of the mix by weight, but almost 50% by the number of seeds. And so as we were looking at this, we didn't really know exactly how to handle that. So we come up with what we call the percent effectiveness. And what this is, it's simply an average of these two, because we figure it's not really fair to use either one of these, because I promise you that Proso millet is not going to be 50% of the effectiveness of this mix. And this corn at 7 pounds is probably not going to be 2% of the mix, because it's only 2% of the seeds. And so we just simply average those and say, okay, 25 plus 2 divided by 2, that's an average of 14. So the effective rate of that corn in this mix is 14%. And so that's how we figure things. And when we do seeding rates, the calculator will help step you through if you want to put all these different things in it. We want this percent of a full rate to add up to about 125 to 150%, depending on what you're using it for. These percentages here will always add up to 100%, because you can't have more than 100% by weight. You can have more than 100% of a full rate, but these others all always add up to 100%. So when we're looking at trying to balance one versus another, if you want the same effective percentage, you would start with the same percentage of a full rate, but then you could look over here and say, okay, I want my safflower to have more than a 4% total effect. So I might need to put in more than 1 pound. So then you can go back and change this, and then all these numbers will change. So that's how we look at it. It's also going to tell you here how many seeds per acre you have, the cost per pound, the cost per acre, all kinds of information there. But that's the way that we approach it, is we look at a percent of a full rate for how to balance one versus another on seeding rate. Then we take the average of the percent by weight and the percent by seeds to get an effective percent for what that's going to look like in our mix. So don't know if that's right, wrong, or otherwise. I think it's more right than using either all percent by weight or percent by seeds, but it's probably not perfect. So that's kind of how we've handled that. That's how the Smart Mix calculator works. And if you haven't played around with it, you can go on there, create a free account, and just kind of start fiddling around. You can start, put in your goals, and then it will tell you, which are going to be the better species to use. So